Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a tiny village by the name of Kamiki. Legend tells of a horrible beast that threatened the residents. It also tells of a wolf that risked it all to protect them. Controlling the very fabric of existence, this wolf stood up against a beast many times its size and banished the darkness. This ethereal wolf's valiant act ushered in an era of tranquility. The villagers' hearts swelled with respect and adoration of the wolf. Okami. And that's the next game I'm playing. Okami HD. Not much to say about this game. I owned it on the Wii. Never finished it quite. Remembered it being a fun time. And one of those games I always thought, man, I gotta get back and finish that game. So you know, the whole channel's purpose kind of being, well, half the channel's purpose being me finishing things I never finished and playing things I always wanted to play. Here we are. So, let's get into Okami. Are we going to the same story? Long, long ago, a tiny hamlet known as Kamiki lay nestled in the grove of proud and beautiful cherry blossoms. Each and every tree around the quiet burg was honored as a god. However, the village was not without its dark secrets. To satiate the appetite of Orochi, a fearsome cave-dwelling beast, a young maiden was offered as a sacrifice at the annual festival. With a body like a mountain and 8 heads mounted on the neck the size of tree trunks, its blood-red eyes alone were set to curse anyone who gazed into them. No one dared disobey the horrific beast. When the night of the sacrifice drew near, a mysterious white wolf appeared outside the village. This wolf, its coat as brilliant as snow, was dubbed Shiranui. The wolf kept a watchful eye on anyone who ventured outside the village and made a habit of patrolling the streets at night. People assumed the wolf to be a familiar of Orochi. One villager took it upon himself to face the fearsome Shiranui. The warrior Nagi attempted many times to challenge the wolf, but his attempts were thwarted by Shiranui's swift movements. Before long, the night of the accursed festival had arrived. A white-plumed arrow heralded the coming sacrifice. Piercing the sky, the arrow sunk its shaft squarely into The home of Nami, the village's most beautiful maiden. Nagi, harboring a secret love for Nami, was enraged by the sign. Determined to put an end to Orochi once and for all, Nagi traveled to the beast's cave in place of his beloved. The Moon Cave, a place as dark as evil itself, served as Orochi's home. Nagi stood bravely before the entrance. A beast appeared, eyes glowing crimson upon 8 thrashing necks. Orochi stood tall before him, anxious for another sacrifice. Nagi leapt with incredible grace, swinging his blade valiantly. On and on he sliced, well into the moonless night. But Orochi's hide was like steel. The blade left nearly a scratch. Nary a scratch. At long last, Nagi, his energy spent from the intense battle, dropped to his knees, fatigued and grasping for breath. He knew he was staring death in the face. 'Twas then that the wolf appeared. As if to protect Nagi, it stood its ground before Orochi. In the darkness of the cave, the wolf's coat shone brilliantly. Alas, the Shiranui, the wolf that dwelled outside the village. Bearing its fearsome claws, Shiranui leapt towards Orochi. Orochi reared its terrifying head, readying its fangs for battle. The two beasts struggled, wildly thrashing in the darkness. Mysterious and terrifying, the spectacles continued. Shiranui summoned gusts of divine wind to counter Orochi's flames. As Orochi closed in on Shiranui's sharp claws glistened, a gigantic tree suddenly sprouted forth, shielding the wolf. Shiranui fought valiantly to gain the upper hand, however, Orochi, protected by its mystical power, was not easily bested. Shiranui, covered in gashes, majestic coat dyed crimson, stood exhausted before the mighty Orochi. Orochi saw a chance to strike what would be the final blow, but Shiranui refused to give in. With its last ounce of strength, the majestic wolf gazed heavenward and unleashed a mighty howl. Suddenly, the black clouds overhead dissipated. The light from above glinted off Nagi's sword as a beacon of hope. Guided by his sword, Nagi, who had been taking shelter in the shadows, stood proud to face his adversary, channeling all his strength into his scarred and battered arms. He leapt ferociously towards Orochi, his sword poised high. The golden sword danced in his hands like a puppet on a string. One by one, Orochi's fearsome heads separated from their owner. Orochi's broken body collapsed in a lake of its own blood. In that instant, the curse that plagued the village was lifted. As the battle subsided, the sun shone once again in the sky. Shiranui had succumbed to Orochi's poison and struggled to breathe. Nagi scooped the beast into his arms and returned to Kamiki. When they reached the village, Shiranui was no longer moving. The village elder gently stroked the wolf's head. In response, Shiranui let out a hoarse and pitiful bark, then closed its eyes and drifted off as if into slumber. Peace had at last returned to Kamiki village. In honor of Shiranui's heroic exploits, the villagers erected a shrine and placed a statue of the wolf within. Nagi's sword was christened Tsukuyomi and placed inside the moon cave. The villagers all looked forward to an age of endless peace. However, this is not the end of the story. Nice transition. There is more to this tale than most people know. 100 years had passed since Nagi and Shiranui's heroic exploits. It happened so quickly that no one in the village even took notice. Is this the legendary sword? Is this Tsukuyomi, the sword that banished the dreaded Orochi? No, it couldn't be. It's just a legend, nothing but a fairy tale. Oh, he who seeks power, he who has broken my bonds. Speak the words I wish darkness onto the world. Utter that prayer onto me and unleash my power. Note to self, do not mess with thousands, probably thousands, of year-old demons. A horde of tragedy suddenly swept over the land. However, there was one village that seemed to escape the terrible curse. The tiny settlement of Kamiki village enjoyed the protection of a sacred tree. It is here that the real story begins. Wood Sprite Sakuya. How troublesome. This is just like the ancient prophecy of doom. Of course there's a prophecy of doom. What has transpired to bring about such a calamity? We must act quickly. There is no time to lose. My power has diminished over the years I've spent protecting this area. I don't have much time left in this world. Amaterasu, now is the time. We have never needed your power more. Shine your divine light upon this broken and polluted world. Let your heavenly rays become our hope as you guide us all. Mirror checks out for the Fable of Amaterasu. Okami Amaterasu. Ah, such divine white light, such beauty and grace. The only one capable of such a wondrous spectacle is none other than our mother and the origin of all that is Amaterasu. How delightful to see that the savior whose brave sacrifice sealed away the evil demons so many years ago has not changed one bit. Seeing you emerge after so many years spent as a statue brings happiness to my heart. Sniff, sniff. Amaterasu, gaze above you and take in the conditions of the sky. Since your untimely departure from our midst, the world has succumbed to devious and vicious beasts. They have ravaged our fine and beautiful country of Nippon, but never have the circumstances been worse. That they are at this very moment. Please use your powers to banish the darkness and punish those who would do us harm. Eh? What is this? Has something stolen its way into my robe? Oh, Please don't come from here, son of a... You, what on earth? I don't remember that. You again? Hello, are you nuts? Boy, for a little thing, you sure make a big fuss. I was just trying to make the conversation a bit more interesting, that's all. Well, you're not in my clothes again, Buck. Buck, I told you 1,000 times not to call me that. I'm a wandering artist. The name's Isun. Wandering artist Isun. I'll show you just how great I am, and it won't be long till you're bowing before my great brush. Well, what you think? Even cuter than your real thing, no? What's with you, Furball? You look kinda down in the dumps. Actually, you look kinda familiar. Got it, you look just like that statue of Shiranui. Correct choice. Well, what do you think you're doing? Are you crazy? A handsome guy like me should never be covered in wolf slobber. You'll regret messing with the great Isun. Not make me use my prized sword, then Komaru against you. Well, that's not good. What's that growling sound? And why is it so dark anyway? Oh, great god Amaterasu. I've used all the power I have to protect Kamiki village. The village lives on, their spirits lie encased in my fruit. Cut it free and the village will be reborn. I trust in you. I know that you will lead us down the right path. Only your awesome power can restore life to the world. Sorry about that. The trees returned to normal, huh? That Sakura girl sure said some weird stuff. The villagers' spirits are being kept inside the fruit. That's the fruit the girl said that if you cut it down, the village will be restored. But it's awfully high up there. If you don't use some kind of special power, there's no way you're gonna reach it. This darkness is really getting to me too. A lot can happen while you're taking a nap. Hooray! Movement! That's a long cutscene section. Oh well, just getting used to the movements. I'm currently playing on the keyboard, because I'm pretty sure there's an issue with my joystick. But we'll see if I switch over later. So, this is the obvious place we should go, so here we go. Where are we? It got awfully quiet all of a sudden. I don't remember any place like this in the village. Well, we better keep our eyes peeled. Use the mouse to look around. C changes your viewpoint. Boy, you really look so helpless. You sure you're gonna be okay? Ah, inverse controls? Who would ever want inverse controls? One moment. There we go. And what's the other thing, Steve? It seems like the best. Some kind of mirror? Hold on! That's an origin mirror. They say once your reflection appears on the surface, your memories will be stored in the mirror for all eternity. Well, to put it shortly, you can save your progress here. And let me give you a little advice. You should save a number of game files. That way you can always go back if you get stuck on something. Gotta be prepared, especially while you're still learning the ropes. Save. Save complete. Look at all those pots just waiting to be broken. Ah, we're Zelda logicking. If you bust them, then there might be something good inside. Press blah to bust them open with your head. Whee! Way to go, my furry friend. You can do that anytime you see something you can break. A bit weird to do with the mouse. Because at the same time I'm controlling, you know, the camera. But oh well. Whoa, whoa, hold on for about, get a load of that. That chest looks mighty tempting. Let's go check it out. Getting up that high ought to be a piece of case. Press space to jump. Then press space again to do a wall jump. Make sure you press it firmly, so press really high. Nice. I knew you could do it. They say good luck is found in high places. So keep your eyes peeled, don't want to miss any treasure. Actually, no, you could wall jump, but didn't remember. You obtain Holy Bonus. Amaterasu's favorite snack, restores 3 units of solar energy. Thank you for the cash. Looks like the bridge is out. This shouldn't be so hard. Amaterasu, was it? That's kind of long. Mind if I call you Amy? Listen, Amy. Ever heard of the spirits of the brush? Good brushwork has its own soul. At least that's what they say. Just watch. I'll take it to explain. A picture's worth 1,000 words, right? Nice, huh? Just a little technique I've mastered called rejuvenation. It's one of my many brush techniques that use divine power. It's a brush god power that can restore broken or missing things. I've practiced really hard just to master this one technique, but there are 13. Each one is power of one of the 13 brush gods. Originally all 13 were a single powerful deity. When the deity died, its powers were split into 13 separate gods. The gods now dwell within objects all around us, but god or no god, how could anyone have the power to master all 13? I wonder. Oh, I started running after a while. Well, that seems like an abyss. Yep, figures. River of the Heavens. River of the Heavens? They mean the fabled Stardust River? but I'm sure don't see anything like that around here. Couldn't be that little puddle over there, could it? Wow, look at the stars, Twinkle. I haven't seen such a beautiful nighttime sky in ages. Hey, look, are those stars forming a pattern, or is it just me? There's one missing. Guess we'll just have to draw it the missing star. Bah! Looks like I'm just not ready to draw missing stars. Press Control to hold the brush, then press bar to draw. I should spend a heck of a lot of time practicing that mumble. Why if it isn't Mother Materasu? I apologize for not contacting you sooner during these long years. Having never forgotten you, I, Yomigami, God of Restoration, have eagerly awaited this day when we could again meet. While you were away, the 13 spirits of the brush that you once possessed, including myself, have been scattered across this land of men and now lie in disarray. I became a constellation and managed to survive until now. The time has come for you to seek out and reunite all the techniques. Your power is what is needed to restore the dried riverbed, the heavens, and renew the flow of stardust. Wow, that was Yomigami, the god of rejuvenation. Wait, so you have the power of rejuvenation now? Can you really use this to restore the rivers of heaven? That would mean you were as good as a brush. As yours truly. Nah, it couldn't be true. Who else could master this incredible god technique? Loot! First things first, loot. Also, miss loot. Stand up. Yes, we saw that. What if drawing some stardust would get the river flowing again? Nah. It's one thing to fix a bridge, but fixing a starry river? There's no way you could pull off a stunt like that. Anyway. Whoa! A river of stardust! So this really must be the river of heavens. But what I really want to know is who the heck drew the darn thing? Isun, you're not the brightest fellow, are you? Oh. Apparently I missed the spot. Loot! Low draw distance! You obtain an astral pouch. Look what you guys found, Furball. The astral pouch here is amazing. It can swallow up lots of food. Then when it's full, it can revive its owner if he or she dies. Let's start feeding it with whatever food we can find around here. Oh, I'm guessing there's gonna suddenly be food here. Nope, just cash. Ooh. Consumed a peach. Consumed an apple. Tangerine. Orange. big and bright. I think I'm gonna call it here. We're a bit of in the middle of a tutorial stage, but I think I remember what's coming next, and it's gonna take a bit. So I'm gonna call it here. Next time, we continue the intro to Okami. See you all then.